the instantiation of the DAG object serves as the basic container for all the tasks also. That means after this one only you will be defining all the tasks one by one. So defining of the entire structure of the data pipeline and the properties that shared among all the tasks also. Because afterwards of this DAG instantiation, we will define about all the tasks. So there you can pass this DAG object to all the tasks, which can give the one orchestrational structure for all the tasks, like for the workflows. And then one management and coordination. So it helps in organizing and managing of the tasks. That means through this DAG object only you can organize all the tasks and the dependencies and even the scheduling of the each task within the workflow. Each task is nothing but it starts on the diagram only. That means start underscore date, using that only the DAG gets started. But after that, using the time interval, it will be done. So very important. And one more thing, so it is useful for the even giving the reference for the tasks also. So because tasks are added to the DAG instance, so tasks are not going to be run individually. So all the tasks that are defined in the DAG object are going to be run using the DAG instance. So we are referencing this DAG instance through the DAG object instantiation, allowing the airflow scheduler to let know that so it can understand the dependencies and the execution of order of the tasks in this entire workflow. Very important, guys. So here in the DAG instantiation section, you must focus on the three parameters especially, that is DAG ID and the schedule underscore interval and the default arguments, which we pass to the all the tasks that are there in the entire DAG file. So let us write the code for this one also. So let us write the code for this one. So the code is like for this one. You need to load this DAG instantiation in the DAG variable. So for this, you need to provide the DAG underscore ID. The DAG ID is shampoo DAG using Python operator. And then default arguments. See, we have the default arguments here, right? So those default arguments will be passed here also. So without defining all these, default arguments here, we are passing them by creating the default arguments separately, and then simply we are passing all of these default arguments. Very important. And then you can provide the description. I'm skipping that one, and we are giving the schedule underscore interval directly. Schedule underscore interval. So this is very important. Using this one only, the DAG is going to be scheduled. Once the DAG is started running by the scheduler, and the scheduler takes care of when it is to be run next. So the time interval between two different DAG instances, that means two DAG runs. So this is the simple DAG object instantiation. We provided only the DAG ID and the default arguments. That means all these arguments are passed through these default arguments for the DAG object instantiation. And schedule underscore interval is the parameter which sets the interval between two DAG runs. Very important. And next, the very important one is the task preparation. So we need to prepare the tasks, and if it is the Python operator, we need to even prepare the Python function also. So in this Python function, you will be having the business logic. Very important. So it might be connected to the GCS bucket, and moving one particular object from one bucket to another bucket, or it might be something else like moving the GCS object into the BigQuery table, or it might be any other kind of thing you can mention here in this business logic. Even you can run the stored procedure, or even you can call something else. You can even connect to the APIs. So there might be many other business logics. So using that one, you can write your custom Python logic here. So using that, to use that, in order to use that particular Python function, you need to use the Python operator along with the Python underscore variable. It is the parameter which is useful for to run this particular function. So for that, so Python underscore callable is equal task underscore function. Here you need to mention the task, that function you define in the functions definition section. So very important, guys. So let us check out about the key points of about the tasks. Why should we write the tasks in the DAG? So what actually the task is and all this. The task is nothing but it's a piece of work only in the DAG entire workflow. Tasks are the smallest and most atomic components of the Airflow DAG file. That means workflow. So they encapsulate a specific action. Like I said earlier, it might be connecting to the BigQuery and moving one particular, table data into another table, or it might be like getting the data from the cloud SQL and putting it into the GCS bucket. It might be anything, like so they encapsulate a specific action, and even you can trigger the DAG from the same from the airflow environment from the DAG one from one DAG. Even other, like you can create the PySpark jobs, you can run them, and you can run the data flow jobs. You can run anything. If it is AWS, you can trigger the you can run the S3 bucket. You can run the Kinesis jobs, and you can run the Glue jobs, and you can run the some of the jobs that relate to the S3 buckets. So you can do anything. Even you can run the SQL queries on the Athena or even the Redshift. So very important, guys. The task is nothing but it encapsulates a specific action or the operation to be executed in the DAG itself. So defined within a DAG is tasks are instantiated and defined within a DAG object only. So because under the DAG object, all these are defined, so they are added to the DAG because we are defining all the tasks under the DAG object. Each task is defined added to the DAG object, so that the DAG object will know that all the tasks are included, and later on you can set the dependencies among all the tasks that are added to the DAG object. Very important, guys. Variety of operators. Yes, we use different operators. Each operator is a Python class using that Python of different operators. You can prepare different tasks. Those tasks, the tasks are represented by different operators like Python operators, Bash operator, dummy operator, and even SQL alchemy operator. It might be PySpark job execute operator, or even it might be like Dataflow job execute operator, or even it might be like Dataflow cluster create operator. So there might be many other operators. So you can use the operators according to your workflow. So each operator type is responsible for executing that particular type of task. Very important. So finally, what we need to set in the DAG instance section, in the DAG object only, you need to set the task dependencies. Task can have the dependencies on other tasks also. That means the DAG may have the multiple tasks. Each task depends on the other tasks. That is very important within the same DAG file. The dependencies determine the order of the execution and ensure that certain tasks run only after the prerequisite task is completed successfully. That means, for example, if you are moving the data from the GCS bucket to BigQuery, and after that, if you are preparing any, some view on the data of that particular table. First of all, that the first task the first type, like the data should be moved from the GCS bucket to BigQuery. That should be done first. Later on, only you need to prepare the view on that particular table. So there is like some dependencies in between two tasks or among all the tasks. Very important. And the properties and parameters related to tasks can have various parameters and properties specific to the respective operators, such as we need to provide the task ID, path and callable function bash underscore command. The bash underscore command is useful for running the Linux commands and bash commands, you can say. So for that, you need to import the bash operator, very important, and the triggering rules. Yes, we have the trigger rules, which can set dependencies among the tasks, very important for the execution of the task. So defining the behavior and the execution details of this task, we use the all the parameters like task IDs, and the Python callable bash underscore command and the trigger underscore rule and SQL. So using the SQL, you can prepare the SQL coding. Very much important. So now let us go on to the VS Code where we can write some uh, tasks here. That means we need to define the tasks for this simple sample DAG. So now here I am defining the tasks, three tasks actually. One is with the Python operator and two are with the dummy operator. The dummy operator is like something. See, in Airflow we have scheduler. The scheduler senses the dummy operator and it will I mean, decorate the DAG pipeline like if you show the graphs, so dummy operator tasks. But the executor will not execute the dummy operator task because there is no task in the dummy operator. So it will be sensed by the scheduler of the Airflow, but it will not be executed by the executor. So you need to understand. So defining of the Python functions, defining of a Python function. Let us do that one. One simple function I will write def so function underscore it is a simply it prints something. So it is a print function only. So print. So this is my first that. So very important. And then let us define the functions. Let us define the tasks. So task one, the task one is like the start task. So start underscore task. So the start underscore task is going to be defined by the dummy operator. So using this dummy operator, I am defining this one. So dummy operator will not do anything as I said earlier. So this one also has having the task underscore ID as the parameter. It is the uh, start start task variable task. And so later on, we need not to pass anything. Simply, we need to pass the DAG object. In this one, that means it references that this task is included in the DAG object. Very important. And this, then later on, I am defining one more task. It is like a Python task. So we need to run the Python task here. So for this one, I am taking the Python operator. So Python operator. And then here you need to write the again task ID. It is the basic parameter you need to pass. So it is like Python task underscore example. And for this one, we need to pass Python underscore callable, very important, Python underscore callable. It is the parameter which is useful for calling the function. So we define the function here in the line 29. So you can say, so this is the function we define. So we can call it from this one, very simple. And later on, we need to pass DAG is equal to DAG. So this is very simple, and the final task is like we use again the dummy operator. So for that, I'm copying it to save the time. So here, start task is going to be replaced by the end task. Very important. So end task. So this is the end task. So we define the all the tasks. So there are three tasks under this DAG object. So we have one Python function, two dummy operator tasks. Very important. So this is the basic skeleton of the DAG. So let us check other things which are involved in this DAG file preparation. See in the Airflow DAG, so the task dependencies is the last section, which is very essential to set the dependencies among the tasks. So using this one only, Airflow DAG will get to know about which task is to be run first and which task is to be run last, something like so the dependencies. So it can even define the relations among the tasks. So if you take this one, DAG is a directed assigned graph. So here the task one is defined using the dummy operator in our case. So that is the operator we used, and we prepare the task one, that is the start task. And in the middle, we prepare the Python task. So we define given Python function. So Python function can be called using the Python operators. So the Python callable parameters. So we use the Python operator to define the Python function using the Python operator. And the task three, we used again the dummy operator. So it is dummy operator is useful for the DAG declaration only. It even is useful for the showing of the if you would like to show the task flow, so dummy operators are very useful. So the task 3 is again end task. We use the same operator, that is the dummy operator. So we import a dummy operator once, but we utilize the dummy operator twice. Like that, so you can even use the Python operator multiple times in the same time. You can create multiple Python tasks, but one time you need to import, you can utilize that one for multiple tasks. So it is a basic information I am providing you for the few people who are really not unaware of all these things. And finally, how can you set the dependencies among the tasks? Means we use the set underscore upstream method or the set underscore downstream method, or even this bit shift notations. So this is the left bit shift operators. It is the right bit shift operators we are using here. Using this one, you can set the dependencies among the tasks. So let us, set the dependencies for all three tasks here. Our first task is start task, right? So write the start and the scope task, and then the dependencies. I am using the bit shift notation here, very important. Then the second task is Python underscore task, and later on I am using the again bit shift notation, and now end underscore task. So this is the section very important. It is the section of the DAG dependencies, sorry, task dependencies section. Task dependencies section. Very important, yes, very important. So with this one, we prepared the entire DAG. So we have different sections. You can even take a look at all these things. Is the importing section, default argument section, and DAG instantiation section. I prepared the function here. You can utilize this space also. So you can use that one also. Starting of the task and Python task. So we use the operators. Using the operators only, you can create the tasks. And finally, we set the dependencies among the task dependencies. This task executes first, as the right bit notation says that later on this task is going to be executed, and then finally this task is going to be executed. Very important, guys. This is the DAG file. Now let us know about the other things about which are there in this particular demo. Yes, importance of the task dependencies. So these are useful for the execution of the tasks in order. Dependencies define the order in which tasks are executed within the workflow, in ensuring that the tasks run in a controlled way, predefined sequence. Very important. And even these are useful for error handling also. That means that it will help you in error handling by allowing the tasks to skip execution sometimes. Even you can use the short circuit operator or branch Python operator to skip the error handling, to skip the tasks in order to avoid the errors. So if the dependencies are failed, or you can go for the retries also. So there are different mechanisms in the DAG execution. So we can use all of them. So dependencies are very useful for error handling also. And workflow logic. The main is like workflow logic should be executed through the dependencies only. So dependencies enable the creation of the complex workflows. Not only like three tasks having dependencies, there might be multiple tasks. So very important, multiple complex workflows might be there in the same time. So that is the basic tag we prepared in this demo. So using that one, you can prepare the complex workflows by specifying certain tasks when it should be executed, after which task it should be executed. So which task should be depend on the end, which task. These are all can be mentioned in this particular tag dependency section only. Very important, guys. So with this one, the demo is going to be finished.